Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are looking at the MLB Prize Picks plays for Sunday. Happy Sunday to everybody watching. Let's go ahead and get into it. I got a few strikeout props I want to give you guys. We can also look at some nerfies. They do not have the pitching outs, once again, board posted yet, but that one is one that you can always consider. That's one I do like. Strikeouts, and that one is the one I usually go with. Let's go ahead and get into it. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it if you hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. And check out all the other links down below in the description. So yesterday on the video plays went 2-1. Gausman did not hit his fantasy against Detroit. They didn't give him any run support, and he didn't go that deep. He only threw 87 pitches, and it didn't get that many strikeouts with only 4, so that one hurt. But Wheeler hit his 7 Ks. He got his 8 Ks, and then we also hit the Ks easily on Giolito. He hit that in the 4th inning. Then I posted a couple more that I liked for the late games, and both of those hit. Lorenzen went for 19 outs, and Montgomery went for 21 outs. So overall, it was a 4-1 day if you played all 5 picks. Let's go ahead and get into the first prop. First one I'm going to give you guys is going to be a strikeout prop. That's going to be coming from one of the earlier games. That's going to be Tariq Skubal, over 5.5 Ks. It's going up against Toronto. They're an okay strikeout matchup. I mean, they're not the best. But this is a Sunday game, so we could see a lot of times these offenses and these managers do like to rest some of their guys on Sunday, so we could see a little bit of a watered down lineup, especially with most of these teams playing last night, and with it being an early game for a lot of teams, we could see some veterans get the day off and just get some more strikeout heavy hitters in there. Look at the last 10 games from Skubal. He's hit this in 6 out of 10, but you got to keep in mind the 2 games that he only had 5 strikeouts were against Cleveland. And if you look at the strikeouts per game, Cleveland is the absolute best in baseball by far at just not striking out. They just have so many guys that don't strike out on the team, led by Steven Kwan, who has like a 5% strikeout rate. Absolutely insane. So got to keep that in mind for Skubal. But otherwise, if you don't account for those games, he's really been solid in the other ones. 11 Ks against Baltimore, 9 Ks recently against Pittsburgh. This matchup, he does go deep into games. Look at his pitch count. He has thrown for over 100 pitches. 3 out of his last 5 starts. And against Cleveland that one time, he only threw 66. So he definitely could have had another strikeout there. We only needed one more if he hit to get the over 5.5 of that one. But he does go deep into games. Look at some of the matchups. Not a ton of historical matchups, but Chapman does strike out a good amount, and he has some success there. If we look at the rest of the projected lineup, although we could see a better lineup in terms of striking out for Skubal, just if they decide to rest some of these guys. But I don't know if Kirk will be in the lineup if he's going to get the day off. But you could definitely get some strikeouts against Chapman, get some strikeouts against Gurriel. We don't know about this strikeout rate of Moreno yet, but he could strike out a good amount. He's a young player, so always, unless he turns into Steven Kwan, which is unlikely. And then Springer does strike out a good amount. Some guys to avoid would be, tougher strikeout like Vlad or Espinal. They just don't strike out too much. But you see a lot of righties in this lineup. But the good news for Skubal is that he has a higher strikeout rate against righties, about 3% higher for him over the last couple years. If you just look at this season's stats, it's been almost 3 percentage points higher, 28.2% K rate to righties. And if you look at the last 30 days, just in general, it's been about 1% higher. And he has striking out a lot more recently with 30% K rate. The double-digit strikeout game definitely helps him in that category. And that's the first prop I'm going to give you. Toronto's in the top 10 in strikeouts and not striking out too much, 7.84 per game. But we could see some more strikeout heavy hitters in the lineups today. And Skubal at this number is still pretty low. The second strikeout prop I'm going to go with is going to be Edward Cabrera. This one I did go with last time he pitched, and he pitched an absolute gem against Washington. Just couldn't get his 5th strikeout. He had his 4th. I believe he had 2 full innings to try to get his last one, and he wasn't able to hit it. He did have a lot of 2-strike counts against Washington, but they're also another good team that just doesn't strike out. They're right behind Cleveland. Now, Houston is up there as well at 7.47. But with the amount of 2-strike counts that Cabrera did have, a bit unlucky that he didn't get his 5th strikeout last game. I'm going to go right back to him. I just think he's just so talented of a pitcher. He's super young. He has like a 96-mile-per-hour changeup that he threw at one point last game, and that made headlines. Just an absolute stud. If you look at just the last 5 games Cabrera has played, he did pitch part of last season at the end, But so he's hit this in 4 out of his last 5 starts. And looking at the pitch count, last season at the end of it, he wasn't pitching too much. So 75, 79, 76, 56. These 2 starts this year, he's gone over 90 pitches, got up to 99 last time out against Washington. So that's a great sign that he was still able to get, hit over 5 Ks, even though he was only throwing 70-some pitches last season. This lineup also doesn't strike out too much, but hopefully they decide to give Michael Brantley the day off. That would be great. And they put in like Siri or somebody else that strikes out a ton. Looking at the projected lineup right now, in terms of strikeouts, you're gonna have look to the bottom of the order if you are Cabrera to get some Ks. Opeña strikes out a good amount. McCormick, Maldonado strikes out an absolute ton. Let's for the last 30 days. Let's look at this year and last year. We can just look at this year if you want to do that. But you're going to be looking to strike out the bottom. And then we'll see. Hopefully they put in like Jason Castro instead of Maldonado. That'll help him if they decide to play Goodrum today. Give somebody else a day off series if he's in the lineup. Those guys strike out a lot more. So it's going to be a bit tougher to strike out the top half of the order. But Cabrera still just gives you elite strikeout stuff on both sides. He's striking out almost 30% of lefties this year. 25% of righties. So at 4.5 at that pretty still favorable number, I will roll the dice. And then another one that I like is Herman Marquez. 4.5 strikeouts. Once again, we're getting a great number on Marquez. And last time, he absolutely crushed with 7 Ks. This time, it's at another same exact number. I believe it went down to 4. And then it was even better last time. But I do like the 4.5 Ks. Going up against San Diego, they're not as tough to strike out. They're still decent right in the middle of the pack at 8.45 Ks per game. If we look at... Marquez has hit this a bunch. He's hitting this 73% of the time recently. If you look at the over is absolutely juiced right now at minus 152. He's hit this in 7 out of his last 10 games, and he's hit this in 6 out of his last 7 games. Only one that he didn't hit was against Washington, who are the second best at not striking out this year. Only had 2 Ks against them, but multiple games of over 7 Ks recently, and the matchup isn't terrible. Has played them a lot just based in the same division. So he has some K success against Machado. Has struck out Grisham a bunch, 4 Ks in 11. That's almost 40%. Strikes out Alfaro a lot, who strikes out an absolute ton. Voit, 66% K rate in his 3 at-bats. And Marquez also goes over 100 pitches a lot of the time. That he is pitching well. They don't have a great bullpen except for their closer is absolutely lethal. And Bard has some electric stuff. You have some decent guys out of the bullpen, but Marquez is one of their most talented pitchers, even though his ERA is high this year. But still, they will let him throw deep into the game. And this is one that I do feel pretty good about going up against San Diego. So those are the 3 strikeout props. So we need 6 Ks from Skubal, 5 Ks from Cabrera, 5 Ks from Marquez. If you wanted to make it, if you're making multiple entries, I would consider Taillon over 4.5 strikeouts. I think that one looks decent. Or you can consider his pitching outs once that gets released. And then in terms of nerfies, one that you could consider would be the Cabrera Verlander one. That one does have the highest odds from props.cash. If you look at nerfies here, this one is implied to hit at 92%. So this one is also one that you could throw in. Cabrera in his 4 starts hasn't allowed a run in his first inning in his career, and then Verlander is 10-1 over his last 11, or last 2 years that he's pitched. This one could be one that you make it if you wanted to make it a 10x potential. I would consider that. And that's basically it for the video. Best of luck. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I answered all the questions very quickly yesterday. So if you have any ones that you're not sure about, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you ASAP. Best of luck today. Hope you guys enjoy your Sunday, and I will see you all next time.